I have always known that if you were a society who endlessly delayed meeting human needs and financing sustainable development, that eventually you would be left with nothing but what you wasted your money on and precious little chance of avoiding using them. And this, of course, was what was known as my discredited viewpoint. In Tacoma 2025, I'm in something of uncharted waters for me. To rehearse a few of the details of the monstrosity that was visited on me. I was attacked when I was 11 or 12 years old and deafened with a poison. I was singled out by a gang who trafficked me and tortured me. They gassed me as a symbol of genocide in a place called King's Estate, which was symbolic of Martin Luther King's heavenly estate. And Hollywood moved in and used me for a second genocide illustration, theme park, one of them called it, on Mount Desert Island in the 80s. And Hollywood created a dialectical materialism, but surrounded me from both sides, the fascist and the communist, and said, this is the illustration of that which opposes fascism and communism, which is the actual enemy. In other words, it was a non-aggression treaty operation. And it had all sorts of kickback to people in the Reagan monstrosity of Access Hollywood and the rock stars and the NAACP and Queer Seattle. And the politicians, this is really very uncharted territory, made a hostage to you. It was the idea, it is the standing idea that they don't dare do anything to try to help change the situation for me. I had press credentials, by the way, and I was given Parkinson's deliberately by science. Mad scientists tortured me. And because they don't want to trigger, as they put it, the corrections gangs. And they're very careful to couch themselves as progressive. The attorney for Yoko Ono knowingly worked entirely and devotedly with an Attica State Prison psychiatrist from Bibi Netanyahu's advisory in Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, an Attica State Prison psychiatrist and Zionist who poisoned me with a nerve agent which is banned by the Geneva Convention when I was just a child. Tortured me. But they don't want to trigger the fascists in corrections or the queers fascists in Seattle. So their idea is that they cut a bargain that keeping me alive is a deal they've cut with powerful underworld forces. Now let's look at the ease with which they could release me from the grip of Hollywood. When I was homeless for 2 years, I came to Seattle because they promised me protection from abuse. They have no intention of giving me protection from abuse. They lured me here the way the children of Gaza were lured to Rafah for a bonfire, for a barbecue, for and the person who I fled was then arrested years later after I fled for robbing a museum of $6 million. They continue to support him and his slanders. Why? Because they made matters worse for them, their dignity in the matter by banning me from college for 12 years. When I finally succeeded in escaping, even with the early signs of undiagnosed Parkinson's, I graduated with honors in the Honor Society. After 4 years of excellent performance in college, um, they said, well, maybe we'd let you go to school here in Seattle. I don't particularly want to go to school there. I have my hands full with the horrible research. But it would be easy for the administration authorities to say, we made a mistake. This person was um, fleeing what we now know was a predator. And we made a mistake in saying that he shouldn't be allowed to go to school. And in giving him illegal narcotics, because it's illegal to deliberately give somebody a drug you know is going to do much more harm than good. And the person wasn't even a doctor, it was an unidentified registered nurse. So, and they were wrong when I warned somebody was going to be murdered. Somebody was murdered by them. And that completes their mission, however. The police and the administrative authorities, the politicians, go into this uncharted territory where they say, we don't want to help him because we're afraid that somebody will kill him if we try to help him. And this is the universe of American law and general political art of the deal in Tacoma.